What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. This is HD Starcraft, and I'm here to bring you guys another set of videos here during MLG weekend. And I hope you guys are ready, strapped in, and set to go. It's time for another set of games from the Red Bull tournament, which occurred last week, and we're going to be watching here a set of games between Millennium Stephano as the Red Zerg at the top right-hand corner of Antica Shipyard. His opponent is going to be Quantic Illusion. And I'm actually really interested to cast this one because Illusion he's a good guy. He's been sending me some replays to cast before. I don't always cast the replays he sends because I'm usually pretty busy. But I do apologize because this is my opportunity, and this is my opportunity to go ahead and make it up to him, as this is a game featuring Illusion. And he's actually a really, really good Terran player. He's a little underrated, I think. He's extremely talented. The last MLG that we all went to, actually, excuse me, IPL, he actually placed really, really highly, and unfortunately just barely did not make the cut into the championship bracket. So he is very much capable of doing battle, dueling up against a player of Stephano's caliber, and I would honestly say that he's got a good shot here of knocking out Stephano and maybe taking a victory in this best of 3. We'll see what happens. He is going to be going with a barracks next to the supply depot, lowering the supply depot immediately, and this is usually what you see Terrans do. You don't usually see them placing the buildings over here and then flying it over. Some Terrans like to do that, but I'm more of the wall it off now and keep it safe rather than sorry. Stephano here preparing to throw down his hatchery. The reason why you see them kind of do that north to south or east to west or just whatever bojangled waypoint shifting you see is just so they can not be attacked by an SCV that comes in and die. They can kind of just keep mobile, and you know, just to keep your drone exercised, keep them nice and thin. And Stephano here going for that hatchery, has an Overlord going down to the south. ZVT is a matchup that revolves around a lot of aggression, obviously. Most Starcraft 2 matchups do, but you know, Terran versus Terran obviously being the one that's most static and defensive. But ZVT, you know, you see a lot of the early expanding from the Zerg player, and then you see the Hellion opening usually from a Terran. We'll see if Quantic Illusions, I don't think he's going to go for Hellion opening. In fact, yeah, there he goes. He's going to go for a command center first, and this is the more economic style of approaching Terran versus Zerg. But, you know, this matchup is, I would say, the most dynamic matchup of all, and it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, to cast. Because of all the things that kind of go into the matchup, you can have so much little micro things that can help propel you forward. Even if you're behind, even if you're losing the game, as long as you can micro really well, for example, burrowed baneling bombs, or marine split control, or medevac drops, or countering those medevac drops, all these little things can help really change the flow of the game. And I think that's what really makes StarCraft 2, especially this matchup, so enjoyable to watch, because even if you're behind, there are little things you can do to get back ahead. And this matchup has a lot of those. And what the heck is that? CV thought he was a drone for a second. And it looks like the Zerglings will come in here and probably kill it off. Yeah, it's probably going to die. As SV just trying to go around the smoke steam vents. Oh, little jukage right there from that space construction vehicle. Back in Brood War, you used to see micro between the worker and the initial attacking units like Zerglings for like 3 minutes in game, and the reason for that is because there wasn't queens back then, and so SCVs could stay alive inside a Zerg base for a pretty long time because, and on top of that, because Zerglings didn't get a movement speed buff from creep. So, you know, it's always fun to see a little bit of nice micro control. You don't see that too much anymore in StarCraft 2 as much as Brood War. But there it is. Quantic Illusion now going up for a supply depot wall. Gonna try to wall off towards the command center, I would imagine, with supply depots. He's also thrown down a factory. This is more of a delayed factory follow-up, and because he threw down the barracks after this this first factory, most likely not going to see a starport here. But most likely going to see reactor Hellions, and there it is, as the factory swaps on with the reactor core. And you know, this is similar to Barracks Reactor Factory into Command Center, but it's more economical. You get to get away with more SCVs, and you still get those Hellions out, but the one thing you might have to watch out for example, is something like a Roachling Bust. Because your units come out a little bit later, you really don't have that many attacking units at all. So something like a Roach Zergling attack, a Baneling Bust, any type of aggression, obviously can be very destructive against a build where you open up with Command Center first. And there's the Engineering Bay. I like the positioning of that. That actually helps protect that bunker just a little bit more, giving it that extra special sauce. And what is that Zergling doing? Too bad. Too bad. And the Hellions aren't going to be able to roast that down. So One scouting unit has been dispatched, but its brothers and siblings still kind of running across the map, or at least one of them is, and trying to get as much vision as possible. Third hatchery coming up here for Stephano. And he is making roaches, but not because he wants to make a roach attack, not because of a roach bust, but simply because Stephano is the type of Zerg player that likes roaches in ZVZ. It gives him map control, and then he can eventually switch into Roach Zergling Infester or Zergling Infester. You know, whatever he really wants to do. It's kind of on him. He's a man of one style, but it can kind of diversify into different little tweaks from here or there. And Quantic Illusion here, just chilling with his Hellions, but that's the thing. When you've got roaches, these Hellions are probably not going to be able to do much, and they're not going to be able to deny creep tumors, that's for damn sure. And we can see Stephano now readily working on that tumorage as he starts to spread outwards from his natural. Starport coming up right now for Illusion. And I guess he is going to get a starport, but most likely for medevac drops here, as he has stim pack on the way and Hellions pumping out. And I would imagine, you know, he's going to get a couple of medevacs out of the starport. He's going to try to go for some drop plays. Antigua Shipyard is a pretty good map for dropping. You have the main, which is readily accessible from the middle of the map. You can also be accessed from the back. You can also go right for the third from the side. And we will see, what's the starport doing? And it's like pointing southeast, and now it finally lands. Okay, there it is. So we are going to have reactor starport for double medevac production. A pretty tame game thus far. No real unit losses on either side. Just the initial, I guess, the Zergling and the SCV that died. And now it's probably just going to continue onwards from that point until Illusion wants to make his first move. This is a Terran versus Zerg and matchup, and it revolves around the Terran making plays. The ball's in the Terran's court right now to try to disrupt the Zerg economy. And wow, he's making Marauders as well. Okay, yeah, that makes sense because there are roaches on the field. And so what we're going to see here is a timing play from Illusion. He's going to try to hit with +1 weapons. He already has stim. He doesn't have combat shields, but he has stim. He has +1 weapons, and this is a lot of firepower with the medevacs as well. And he's going to look to do a huge timing play here, but does Stephano have enough units on the field to deal with this? Note, there is creep here to help him out, and that's going to give a nice movement speed buff as the Zerglings and Roaches come in and try to get the swarm down, but it looks like the Marines, really good micro control here from Illusion, picks off the rest of the Zerglings, and wow, Illusion here should be able to push these Roaches away, at the very least going to be able to take down these creep tumors. Zerglings coming in or flooding in at this moment in time, and I think Illusion's attack here is going to be halted in its tracks, as Stephano really well counters that attack. Really well done by him. And yeah, I thought there was a moment there where Illusion was going to do a ton of damage. His attack really looked quite strong with the double medevacs, the stim, the +1 timing, but Stephano was just all over that, and there's one of the reasons why. Stephano actually had better upgrades than his opponent. He is one of those guys that just pumps upgrades all the way, and he's already working 2-2. So while the Marines and the Marauders might have had +1 weapons, it really is negated by the 1 Carapace, and then of course the 1 melee on the Zerglings really helped kind of control the flow of that battle for the Zerg player. Now Illusion really has to figure out a way to, I think, get back into the thick of things. He has an orbital command coming, and so he won't be too far behind in bases, but he's got to try to get a drop in here, and that's what we see him attempting to do right now, but I don't know, man. There's already a queen there, plenty of Zerglings and Roaches. When you watch a game with Stephano, it's very hard to find dents, chinks in his armor, really. It's like playing against a god. And, you know, I might be blustering a little bit too much over him right now. I've been casting a lot of him, no doubt. But he is an extremely talented Zerg player, and it's very hard to find openings to exploit. And, you know, right now it's just looking extremely bulletproof. We'll see. We'll see if he makes a mistake or something. It does look like Quantic Illusion is going for the 3rd orbital command at the bottom right. Hive on the way as well from the Zerg. No surprise there. Stephano getting the Hive at 13 minutes in, or about to finish it at 13 minutes in. He loves to get the Hive tech, gets +1 upgrades, plus upgrades right away, and he really overtechs over his opponent. And very soon here, we're going to have Brute Lord, Infester, Ling. And if Illusion does not have the Viking count, if he does not have well, Vikings and then a mixture of if he wants Ghosts or Marines and Medevacs, and of course Marines and Medevacs and tanks, but he needs units, is what I'm trying to say right now. If he doesn't have the right units on the field, then it's going to be very devastating. In fact, Stephano's going to go with the Stepping Stone Ultralisks first, and Ultras are pretty good still in this matchup, despite what a lot of people say. I mean, a lot of people will say HD, Ultras are terrible, but I have to disagree. I really think Ultras have their place in this matchup. They're not the end-all, be-all unit. I think Broodlord and Fester is, but Ultras are a way to get there and have a meaty unit in your army, and it's always nice to have a couple of them. You know, you don't need to overly invest, but having a couple is really nice, especially because they share upgrades with Zergling and Fester. So I think there's a place for them, and we do have Adrenal Glands coming right now for Stephano, so oh god, his entire hive tech has been fully researched almost, and look at the creep tumors spreading. These Marines and Marauders are in the middle of the map, actually below the equator line, if you will call this an equator line, and there's still creep that they could not get away from, and that really did not help their escape strategy there. So pretty devastating, because the creep tumorage has nearly, damn it, reached the Terran side, and there's no response from Illusion. I mean, you can't really blame him. What the hell is he gonna do? And he's trying to send out a medevac, I guess, to the top left, but I don't think he realizes Ultras are coming right now. And he just, I mean, man, does he have, thankfully he hasn't started Viking production yet. He doesn't need it quite yet. He's accurately assessed that, okay, there he goes, just gonna drop the comset to confirm, but he did kind of accurately assess that, okay, there's no Broodlords yet, but probably Ultras, and he won't need Vikings yet, but he's gonna need a lot of Marauder production right now and try to get in with these drops. But look at this, like I said, bulletproof is Stephano. Illusion can't even come in here. One Marine gets down, it's like, what's up, guys? And I guess the Marine is going to get taken out, so that's quite the shame. Illusion here won't even be able to secure this command center. No way, Jose. Zergling's totally taken that down. They are, by the way, guys, 2-2 with crack and 3-3 on the way. So this is just a molestation of the Terran player by Stephano. Now 196, 174 supply. By no means is it over yet, but from what I've seen, I just have not noticed Illusion getting in there and doing any damage. I haven't noticed him killing anything of high value, and it reflects in the units lost at 5,000 to 2,000. And oh god, here we go. It is time for Stephano to bear down his forces, bear down the load on the Terran army, and wow. Is there any hope here for Illusion? He falls back to his bunkers, but loses all of his tanks in the process. Cannot even hope to land this command center down. Gets fungoed on his Marines and Marauders. Nice fungo by Stephano, and Stephano doesn't need to necessarily commit here. There's actually quite a few tanks from Illusion. So Illusion, I think, is safe for now, but I want to re-stress once again that Illusion is an extremely talented Terran player, but I think Stephano, being the world-class Zerg he is, just... you know, it's showing here in this matchup. But Illusion, I think in the next game, if he loses this one, should he lose this one, still has a good shot at taking out Stephano. I want to stress again, he is extremely talented. I think he got off to a bad start here, but nevertheless, Stephano, man, running away right now with this game. That Infestor is like... totally just relaying information. It's okay to attack, guys. Don't worry, I'll spit the Infested Terrors for you guys first. And here comes everything. And even if Stephano loses his army here, I don't know, man. I don't know if Stephano wants to lose his army here. Probably, I think Illusion is actually kind of safe. Illusion pushing back this army, and Illusion, yes, actually going to get a command center down. Finally gets the fourth, and maybe a breath of fresh life here, because he really needs this fourth CC. And by getting this fourth CC, he also, by right, has to claim the top side here, the hill, the mound, in order to keep it safe. And this is going to be the focus of this matchup now. Whoever can control this mound will therefore indirectly, or directly, if you, I should say, have control over the middle expansion. But Stephano has his Ultras just raging on the top of the hill, the kings of the hill, and here comes everything. And this is why I say Ultras aren't too shabby. They can really get in there and just wreck your Terran line, and Illusion has to keep this planetary fortress alive. I don't think he can, though. Too many Zerg units coming in. He has to fall back to his bunkers once again, but the bunkers are nowhere near the planetary fortress. The planetary fortress cannot be lifted off, and it goes down. And there, the hopes and dreams of the Terran commander Illusion might have fallen as well. Oh man, he might be able to hold on here to the base, but losing this, like I said, is just too devastating, because now you're falling behind an economy. You won't be able to keep up in the production of the Zerg clear. That's 50 Zerglings and 6 Ultras being made right now. And Stephano, keep in mind, is max Illusion not yet at 3-3, and there is the GG. And I'm rhyming, ripping out my flows, and that is pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoy. This is game 1 from Red Bull Tournament with Illusion and Stephano. Stephano taking the first game of this set. Nowhere at this point, I don't really think there was a major crazy thing that I'd like to just reanalyze again. So with that, go ahead and go to game 2 here. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys enjoy MLG Weekend. And I will see you guys in the next cast. This is HD, signing out.